Who knows? In the future, if we have the ability to change the body and the soul to help evolution, then in the case to help the lower soul to evolve higher, or to help the incapable soul when the body is not used anymore, they can continue to use another body in order to evolve, to be able to help mankind to have wisdom. For example, a person maybe 80 or 90 years old, but he has some talent or special talent to be able to help mankind. These are not lost, meaning that the body, if the body died, the soul is capable. Perhaps that soul can merge into a young person, either in a family or outside the family, to continue on the journey of that soul to help others. The lesson I have just taught you in the level 20. So for that reason, in the case of evolution, as we know the high capacity, as we are not able to understand or grasp, we always refer to that as belong to the divine or to God. As I have just taught you, particularly I had a chance to communicate with the soul of the first to the fourth human race. Those are the one with wisdom and enlightenment, as they agree to allow us to change the body and the soul, so that we are able to help with a highly capable soul to go into a healthy body, in order to help that body with a stronger body and with a highly capable soul. For sure, it will meet the demand to help mankind to evolve. So this question, I cannot confirm yet. For the human, as we evolve from the first time when the human is here to create all of the living creatures, or the deity create all the living creatures first. But for the past 18 years, as I've been teaching all of you from the level 5 or 5.1 about more than 10 years ago, you were able to promote the growth in vegetable plants without using chemical fertilizers. You are able to promote the growth in fruits without any contamination, without the chemical contamination, and you are able to improve the yield, including for vegetable as well as fruits. As we know how to use universal energy from a lower level, that was more than 10 years ago. And gradually, after 10 years until now, as you can see, the teaching of LUONG, as we are developing further, we have more ability in order to meet the demands in science, in spirituality, that the large LUONG family we had been and we continue to apply successfully. Therefore, through these questions, perhaps I can answer this year or maybe next year through the results. As the humans, we're going through the change, how we can reach wisdom and enlightenment. And the soul from the first to the fourth human race that are merging to the student in LUONG, to see how we can help our body, how we can help the body and the soul of all the living creatures, to see how effective it is. From now to the end of the year, or in the year 2008, you will have a clear answer. These are no stranger. That is all of us at the present time, and in the future we are doing it. Now if I answer it, it's too soon. I'll let a number of you, the level 20, when you go back to apply it, to bring all of this ability from the soul, from the first to the fourth human races that merge into our bodies, to help our body to carry out spiritually as well as physically, science and spirituality. That is the answer that you will see in a few years. Perhaps those of you, you will have the answer when you learn the level 20 in the beginning of next year, as Fernando had announced to all of you, in America, in Europe, in South America. Perhaps you learn from the 8th to the 12th. In Asia and Australia, it will be the 9th to the 13th of January 2008, as I plan to teach the level 20, the second session for all of you in South America. Perhaps a few locations in Europe, particularly I have a connection from Europe to Thailand in Asia. That is perhaps in 5 more months you have a chance. I'll answer for you in general. So now the next country you can ask now. In Venezuela.
Master. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, all of you. A student is asking the question, is referring to the Mekong interview. In our country, there is so much negativity and separation. Is it a relation between the enormous energy resources as oil, coal, gold, that you call as negative energies? Also, you say that the deities say that the knowledge will save our lives. Could you talk more about what are this knowledge? Is it that is the illumination? The student want to know if it's the illumination. It's clear, vous?
Yes.
Thank you, vous. A big kiss.
Now, as you know, in the past, the first to the fourth human races, these are the one with wisdom and enlightenment. They did not need to use all of the natural resources like gold, diamond, oil, petrol, all of this substance that right now we are using as the materials. We think that we have the material, we have everything. We may have, but in our lifespan, how long we live? In the past, they live from 1 to 5,000 years. In the nearest, about 200,000 years ago, we live 3 to 600 years. That is the human lifespan from the time when the humans, we lose our wisdom and enlightenment as we use all of this toxic, meaning the natural resource from the earth, petrol, coal, diamond, uranium. All of this toxic are damaging the humans, so how can we live more than 100 years? That's why only 80 years, or 60 years, or 70 years we die. We live a life of pleasure, but your lifespan is so short. But millions of years ago, they do not need diamond, they do not need oil or gold, they do not need chemicals. They live from 1 to 5,000 years. Just by nature, by the clean air, with all of the food that they can create, without any contamination of the environment. There is no toxic. Without toxic, we can live long. That is the explanation I gave you. All of this toxic, we think that we can get rich, we have power from this substance. We have wealth, career, fame, but we sacrifice in a way we only live 60 years and we die. And our children and grandchildren, they're no exception. A short lifespan. So how many years you can lead a life of pleasure? At most 50 years, no more than that. So now, you use for 50 years, in that 50 years of pleasure, how many you can inherit? Only 1 minute, perhaps. You can sacrifice your whole life. But then because of the human, we lead a life of pleasure. That is the fifth human race. Because of selfishness, because of greed, power, that's why we do not have the wisdom. For those with wisdom and enlightenment, because of selfishness and power, they also got destroyed. We make the same mistakes because of selfishness and power. We live only for 60 years and we die. From the time our brain, we don't have wisdom anymore. We only use a very small percentage of the brain. That's why 80 years of our life we die. The scientists, 3-4 centuries ago, they mentioned that they are good. Now we have all knowledge. But even with all knowledge, 80 years of our lifespan. And Lảo üNG also 80 years and live in a poor condition, not in a life of pleasure. So he's late one step. Whether he go sooner or later, he died. Because people without wisdom and enlightenment, that is how I analyze for you from the East and the West, and the ancient and the present time. That is a toxic that I want to share with you through these documents that I have sent to you before I taught the level 20. They are all toxic. You bring to the environment to create petroleum, if including in a highly advanced country, like in a village in my country, perhaps people can live up to 90 or years old without any cancer because they have nothing. But over here, you're highly advanced, highly developed, you have a lot of doctors, you have a lot of hospitals, but 30, 40 years and people have cancer in the stomach, the lungs, and all kind of symptoms. They have to end up in the hospital. But they live in a village all year round. They only know how to live in nature with the clean air. They eat vegetable with the good food. They eat all of the seafood fresh. So they live 80, 90 years old, and they still work in the farm. In the morning they work, and then at night they go to sleep. And 80, 90 years old, and they don't have any sickness. But due to old age, after time, and they still end up dead. But they do not die suffering. They die peacefully. But you lead a life of pleasure. Before the moment of death, you have a lot of pain, and the whole body you have all kind of wire, and no matter how many wire you have, you end up in death. The more wire they have on your body, you still die, and you die in suffering. Do you see anyone in hospital who die peacefully? No. Whether they believe in Christ or Buddha, you still die in a suffering way. That is the toxic that are damaging inside your body. That's why it causes you the painful death. You think that you are highly capable, you researcher, you may inherit when you are not sick. At the moment of death, before the moment of death, 90% of humans suffer. The other 10%, you know who? Because in a car accident, they die instantly. So that's why they don't feel any pain, they die instantly. Most of the people in the hospital, 9 of them died painfully. That's why some of the doctors who see, they ask the doctor to have an injection, but they cannot, they have to keep to the last breath. But only 1,000 people, only one can die peacefully. That is because of the toxic. But now we lead a life of pleasure already. That's why in the decade of the 21st century, the teaching of Lảo UNG as a deities taught us to help us to know how to use the natural resource without causing contamination. I only have 1%. That 1% meaning the key that God had given to me, how we can solve in the case of nuclear radiation in the air, the chemical in the air, that we breathing the air, we still live, then we succeed. I'm waiting for that day. I'm waiting for the case of nuclear, biological, chemical in the air that we are able to neutralize without causing sickness, and we can use that and we can live longer. Then that would be the return stage of wisdom enlightenment. That was 10,000 years, 10 million years ago. I explained for you that time would come to us in the decade of the 21st century. We will experiment this. If we can live, we can help others to live. Then that experiment for the humankind that God had designed would be successful on earth. That 34 years ago, God had taught me that lesson 34 years ago. I hope and waiting in the case of biological, chemical, and nuclear in the air to see whether we can handle it or not. Therefore, I prepare for you the UV water, the UV garlic water, and all the formula to merge, to practice in the warm water, or to merge, to have all the people, to help our physical body to transform into energy. Then you are not contaminated. It doesn't mean that I tell you just to practice for fun. If you practice more or less, or you don't practice, it is up to you. My mission, as you come to the class, I teach you. I share with you. And as you know, to save a person, as you know, the contamination you practice, so your body can transform into energy. Then you are not contaminated by the nuclear or chemical in the air. That is a point very important for those of you who practice to travel out to space. Remember, to practice to travel out to space to protect your health, to help helping others. If you practice to travel out to space, let your body travel out first, end up in a cemetery. But for those who go into the, when you are drunk, and when you are drunk and you think that you travel out to space, you end up in a cemetery. Space is so far away, the cemetery is very close. That I can guarantee 100% for those of you who are drunk. If you don't have money, you ask my money, I can give you the money to buy a coffin. I always like to help in this case. I explain for you. If you know, then you can save yourself and you can help others by universal energy. It doesn't mean that I'm teaching you the level 16, level 17, level 18, level 19, and you practice to travel out to space just for fun. No. But I just tell you, not advertising. The level 20, me and Teresa had experimented first to practice in the warm water. That the student had also reported me that Master, if they practice in the warm water, at the moment the body transforms into the energy, and I sit on the water, and she was afraid, telling her husband to practice, and floating on the water. So both of them are level 20. They just reported to me. They were floating on the water. I explained further for Teresa, as when we close our eyes to meditate, to travel out to space, we do not have any sensation anymore at that moment. The pressure of the water would bring your body to float up. That is the reason I share with you only a part just for you to hear for fun, because I know in this class a number of you who are the level 20 who are auditors. Over here, the level 19 students, we have 6 but 30 auditors in here. Only 6 students but 30 auditors. The level 20 who are here as auditors, not the level only 19, level 19, only 6 of them, but I tell you to stay behind with me for fun. I just want to share with you a good news in the case when you are in the level 20, when you practice, if you feel the sensation that the pressure of the water bring you afloat, do not worry. Don't worry. Listen carefully. That is how I share with you. If you know how to use universal energy, the light of God's aura, through your practice, you are not just helping yourself, helping all the people, also help all of your family members. Furthermore, perhaps you can help the communities around the world that we have been and we continue to have, as we have in order to serve people in the nearest, that would be your family members. Now go on. Next question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Will?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I'll start again. Master,
take some distance from the microphone. We hear you very, yeah, like that. Thank you. Take like 4 or 5 centimeters.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Good. Master, thank you very much for this level. The question of the student. You told us in the level 17 that at the end of the times, mankind, men and women, would have wisdom and enlightenment. Does it mean that the world is going to finish, is going to come to an end? And when this end of the world comes, and the humanity, all mankind have health, enlightenment, and wisdom, what will happen with God and the deities and our souls? Will they also be finished? Thank you, Master.
I have a strong noise coming from Europe. Can you please check your connections? If not, I close Europe and yes, yeah, this is it. Now it's almost gone. Okay, we fix the noise. Okay.
Learning after 34 years, as the deity had revealed to me, only on earth we have the human species. That God can test the humans to see what is the level of wisdom and enlightenment we can reach. Through millions of years in the past, the humans on earth, we really had that wisdom and enlightenment that God had tested the first 4 human race in the past. But the will of God is To have wisdom enlightenment meaning to have love toward others without selfishness, without power, greed. Then the humans will have peace and freedom. But for what motive or what reason the first four human race, they always want power, causing war, selfishness and causing war. That is the greatest error of the humankind for millions of years in the past until now. Now we are no exception. Whether we are the fifth human race, even though we don't have wisdom enlightenment, but then we are better in the case of selfishness from the family outside to society, and power, greed from inside the family outside to society. How can we have happiness? So God wants to clear everything. However, in the past 34 years, for the first time when Master Dang, I was fortunate, I received a message from a deity who revealed to me, who taught me that this time, hopefully, the humankind will have wisdom and enlightenment. That's all I know. But then, through the journey, after 18 years of my teaching all over the world, then in the 18th years, I would know, as I received the message, as I taught the highest level, which is the level 20, the soul from the first to the fourth human race, they volunteer to come to merge into the body of the UE students, to help the large UE family, particularly to serve for the communities in the world. So we all have wisdom enlightenment without selfishness or power struggle, so that the human will have wisdom enlightenment all over the world. Once the humankind on earth, we have wisdom enlightenment all over the world, perhaps we can migrate to another planet to promote life in this planet. These are the lessons I learned 34 years ago. And I want to elaborate the question that you had asked. The human had the wisdom from the time the humans are on earth. Who give this wisdom enlightenment? These are the humans. And 34 years ago, God had revealed to me only the humans can help the humans. Beyond the humans, no one can help the humans. I did not believe, I did not agree, because I did not have the sufficient spiritual level, because I only know that only God has the ability, the humans cannot. So the deities continue to teach me. It is correct, the deities, they have the ability. But then, do we see the deities on earth? No. The deity in front of you, can you recognize them? No. Who help you when you are sick? You need to have a physician, a Western doctor, or to a pharmacist, or is it God or a saint that give you the drugs? No. When you are sick, who diagnose you? Not God. Only the humans diagnose you. So that's how the human can help the human. From that day on until now today, after 34 years of learning from the deities, I want to share with you in this cycle and in the recent years in the past, I also felt discouraged. I have said that if in a decade of 21st century, if God taught me, if there's no change in the human and in the world, I volunteer to die first. Whatever people do, because I don't have the capacity. Meaning I'm so negative, I want to give up everything. But then in the recent years, it continued. The deities give me the environment to teach the low to the high level, to help you to transform into energy, to travel out to space, to teach you in one way or another. Recently, last month, when I taught the level 20, that from the past until now, I never thought that the one with the ability on earth, these are from the first to the fourth human races, who agreed to merge into the humans in the universal energy. And everything has changed in the recent months. I explained clearly for you so you can understand. Eventually, if through this question, if we have really wisdom enlightenment, and there are many other planets around us without the humans with their capacity, if God allowed us with the ability, as we have wisdom enlightenment, we can migrate to other planets to bring life there. As you don't have the ability in the fifth human race, but in the level 5.1 you can transfer energy from one tomato to grow to 1,000, from a fruit tree to yield 1,000 or to improve the produce with all of the agriculture, only level 5.1. Now you're learning the high level. For sure, in the case we can produce the growth for agriculture, it's not so difficult. And we can promote the life in other planets, it's not so difficult if we have the ability. For that reason, God had revealed to me, and I teach you. Your body and soul can transform into energy to travel out to space through your soul, but you can help promote life into a physical body. That was 34 years ago, as I learned. Perhaps this is the time, the cycle. We will have many of our friends in the future. These are the ones that are from other planets. We are able to promote life there. Because, as you know, this human race, they live in a natural way. They live 1,000 to 5,000 years. These are the masters due to their selfishness and power, greed. But if in the future God loves us, help us without the problem of selfishness and power, then we can live out in space. There is no time frame. We perhaps can migrate and bring life to other planets. As I present to you, I hope and I wait from now to the end of the year 2009 to see the changes on Earth, the change in the people. If there's not, then I volunteer to die first. Whoever want to do it, I give up. However, I present to you with everything that I have learned, with everything I can teach you. I hope that we can help other people. Do not think that God create the tsunami, God caused a disaster to kill people. God create, never kill people. God create the people want to have wisdom, enlightenment. God does not want us to kill us. To God to kill the human is not so difficult on earth. It's just like a grain of sand in a desert. Only 1 cup to cover the grain of sand, then we all will be annihilated. It's not so difficult for God. However, God wants to keep the humans, so these are the humans to train, so that they have wisdom, enlightenment, and to share to other planets. God never hurt the people. God only help the people. But importantly, the people who are selfish, the people with power, greed, that will cause kill people in any situation. That's why God created the teaching of Lảo UNG to create you and me. What for? To stop the killing. According to the news 10 years ago, or last year, or recently, the scientists had announced all over the world that Earth perhaps will have the problem from 70 to 90% if there is an axis change of the Earth. Only in that alone, you can see the casualty of 70 to 90%. And 3 or 4 days ago, the ice cap from the North Pole, it may raise the water about 1.5 meters high. You can see the effect when these icebergs are melting. I have shared with you. I'm not a scientist. Let's say you urine as you urine from negative 20 degrees. When you urine, it will turn to ice right away. Listen carefully. But the iceberg, it is negative 100 or negative 200 degrees. The global temperature just raised a few degrees. How can it melt all the iceberg? Just think about it. I just say that like that for you to think about it. In your body, 37 degrees, when you urine, it will turn to ice right away. With your urine, it turns into ice right away. This iceberg is negative 100 or negative 200 degrees. And the change of the temperature on Earth only a few degrees. How can it melt all the iceberg? So you can put a big question mark. No matter how you know, how you do understand. I understand. I just show you. If you don't understand, then I cannot explain any further. This iceberg is melting. With the water level rise 1.5 meter, then you can see the effect all over the world. Only 3 days ago. If it really happened, then you know all of the river, the ocean will have a flood. Then you know the reason why. You have to predict why these icebergs melt, or what for. And I tell you, if the iceberg, perhaps it may be a large piece of ice with negative 100, negative 200 degrees block of ice. Even with boiling water 100 degree, you pour it in, it instantly turn into ice right away. Then you know why, the reason. That is the point. The scientists are going crazy. They're going crazy because only the rise of the temperature only 3 or 4 or 5 degrees, and they are claiming that there is a global warming, and they're all fake, 100%, not even 90%, 100% fake. Your own physical body, 37 degrees. If it is up to 40 degrees, then you can have some medication to halt the fever. You can think 100 degree boiling water pouring in. So now the temperature of the earth only raised only 3 or 4 degrees. If the earth raised the temperature to 100 or 200 degrees, then perhaps the iceberg may be melting. If the increase of the temperature is 100 or 200 degrees, the iceberg is still the same, because it is negative 100, negative 200, so 100 degrees raised is no effect. I explained in the previous seminars. This one I just shared with you. God never want to destroy the human, and the human perhaps can hurt the human, and the human hurting the human, we cannot stop, but we can help within our capacity. We cannot help the whole earth, because you know why? Because in the morning when you wake up, the fish is in your house. How can you save? No, there's no way for you to save. I tell you the truth. I'm very fortunate. I only know 2 hours ahead, and in 2 hours I cannot save. So depending on faith, other people I can save. Without the faith, then I cannot save. After you wake up, everything's changed. So how can you help? You are sitting, you are getting drunk, and then 2 hours later the tidal wave come, and then you end up drinking the wine under the ocean floor, meaning you're drinking with your soul. Your body died already. How can you save? That is how I share with you. Everything that we have learned, try to learn, to take care of ourselves. And you say that you leave it alone, then there's nothing to say. Because there are many of them, they are reckless. They just leave it alone. You know why? You know why they leave it alone? Because when they have money, they're afraid of dying. When they go gambling, they don't have any money, then they want to die, and they want to die. But when they have an injury, then they're afraid. They said they're not afraid of death, but when they have an injury, then they're afraid. Let's say losing an arm or a leg, and they're afraid of it. At the moment of death, they're afraid of it. But death, then there's no fear. But when you're dying, when you die, they said they're not afraid of death, but when they're sick and you are complaining and then you suffering, and you ask people to save you, when to tell you to learn, you say you want to go drinking. But when you are sick, then you ask people to save, you do not die so fast, because to die is so easy. If you have to take a lot of time of suffering, and after suffering, and then you get saved without saving, and then you end up dead. So in a way, you end up dead. So I advise for you, through this question, I share my experience for you so you can recognize it. Therefore, I build the antenna model with 2 benefits. First, we are helping the soul from lower to the soul from up to chakra 5, so they can return to their deities from a spiritual perspective. In the environment, the energy from outer space that enter to Earth with a very hot temperature, it may cause a power loss of the whole region, because the energy from outer space is so powerful, meaning the thunder that may burn the transformer, burn all the power supply. So instead, in Europe, you have these castles with the lightning rod. With the lightning, through the lightning rod, you can neutralize So it costs neutralizing the lightning rod. But with the antenna model, it is so simple. It has this special function to neutralize many of these powerful lightning energy that might cause problem to the whole region. On this, the antenna can neutralize, because this antenna, as it is a material, but my soul is always close to it. All the antennas, all the students in UE all over the world. You are fortunate that I merged to all of you. Why? To protect yourself and your family. For others, I cannot promise. But the large UE family, you're my student. I promise I will merge to all of you to protect you. Within my ability, I protect you. And all of the students, from the time you come to learn UE from the level 1, with the chakra open 30%, I merge to all of you, to help all of you in a large UE family. It doesn't mean that I abandon other people. However, sometimes because of their fate, I can still help them. Sometimes I help them more than the UE students. It doesn't mean that I only take care of the UE family alone. No, all over the world. Depending on the fate and destiny of these people, they can benefit. For example, like right now I want to transfer to that country. So instead of transfer energy to that country, the tsunami may cause a problem, or disaster may cause problem. But unintentionally or intentionally, when I transfer energy, then the tsunami or disaster come, the damage only 1 of 1,000 or 1 of 100. Or otherwise it may totally destroyed. So that is how I want to share with you. I hope through my lecture in this level 19, with everything that you learn, with everything that you have tried, do not think that you can help all over the world. Do not wish to help all of your country or people. However, within your capacity, you help. Within your limit, with your ability of 5, you want to help, then God give you 10. Does it mean that you have ability of 5 and you want to help 5? If you really wish to help. If you do not want to help and you have 5 and you say that you want to help 15 or 20, but you cannot deceive God. You cannot even deceive your own soul. Do not say that you have the ability, you can help this and that. Do not lie, do not try to deceive. You can lie and deceive your normal person or yourself, but you cannot do it to your soul. So it's rather not to do it. It's better. If you say it, then you have to do it. If you don't do it, then don't say it. In Vietnam, they say that there's 2 guardians on your shoulder. Wherever you lie, they know. So it's best not to do it. When you can do it, then say it. Within your capacity, you help. But in your sincere heart, if you have the ability 5 and then you try to do 5, then the deity will give you 10 or 20. And you said you have money, you want to go, and you do not make the story. You can impose conditions, and you go here and there, you can impose conditions just to go for pleasure. You go to the church, to the temple to pray, and you say you don't have money, but in fact you go party, you go to drink to the bar, you have money, but to go to the temple, you said you don't have money to go there. Then, in a way that you are imposing condition on Christ or Buddha. So you ask them to give you money so you can go to the temple, but you go to the party, you don't ask them. Christ and Buddha doesn't want to give you money to go to bars. If they like bars and they can give you money, but he's just sitting there, how can they go to a bar? The Vietnamese, the people, they are so strange. That is how I help you with the means. If you want to go, if you don't have money, the deity will give you. Do not put pressure, do not impose the condition on the deities. This is the greatest error of the humankind. You go to Christ and you ask for favor, and if not, then you don't believe. Or you go to Buddha, you ask Buddha to give you. If not, then you don't believe. That is very illogical. They don't tell you to do this. Anything for them. You do it for yourself, for your family, and you keep on asking for favors. You ask for many things. As you ask, if they don't listen to you, then you say that they are not holy, and you don't believe in them. That is the human nature. So in that way, how can you live? Many people, they still live. They are so strange. They sit there, they don't say anything. Christ just sent with his hand out, and Mary with her hand out, and Guan Yin just Buddha just he's afraid to close his eye, and people still curse at him. He's afraid of these people. They are so evil that they curse him. They walk out of the temple, they curse at him. He didn't even look at them. The man or woman, he just sit a statue and close his eyes, and they do not leave him alone. He just sit there on the altar. They don't leave him alone. They ask for many things, and then they yell at him. He didn't do anything, and they still yell at him, criticizing him. You can see that is the greatest error. But you have to understand, these are the fifth human race. That's who we are. The fourth human race, they have the ability. They have the ability, and now we don't have the ability. So we have to understand for the human nature. Do not hate them. Whatever, how long they can live, that's up to them. That's why after 80 years and they end up in the cemetery, or some they can live up to 90. That is how I share with you. These are the means. I want to remind all of you, when you come to level 19, the higher soul come to you. Then this higher soul come to you. They are not as easy as Master Dang. As I learned through, I know. Each time this high being who come to earth to merge to you, they are very strict because they don't agree to anything. No. So as they are so strict, the purpose is to train us to excel. So we have to listen to them. We do never impose them conditions, so they force them to listen to you. That is the greatest error of the fifth human race. That is us. That's all I remind you so you remember. Do not say that because this is human society. You said, how come people can do it and how come you cannot do it? Then there's no point for me to teach you. When I see this mistake, that's why I show you, so you don't make a mistake. You say that they can do it, I can do it. Can you be a Master Dang? If not, don't do it. You say that this book say that these are their books, not yours, and they write, can they do it? No. How can you do it? And they can prove to all the books like this and that. I have heard so many things. These are only the means that I learn as I share to remind you, to give you the means for you to learn so you can evolve. It doesn't mean that I say that I'm good and you are low. No. I want you to improve better than me. I feel better, happier. I announced to all the students worldwide, the student in level 2, who can treat paralysis only a few days, but Master Dang treat for 3 years, it's not even cure. My level 2 student, a person with paralysis, only 2 days, the person can walk. For Master Dang, 3 years, I couldn't even cure it. I'm happy. It doesn't mean that the person, or criticize the person, that person is good, better. If I cannot do it, I say I cannot do it. That's how I share with you on that point. It doesn't mean that you're better than, I said that you are better than Master Dang, have a grudge against you. I want you to be better so that you can do more work to reduce the suffering and to carry one of the burden for me. Now go on, next question.
Dear Master Dan, my best regards from Germany. Now it is already dark, it is early in the morning, and I have 2 questions. Dear Master, I would like to have a pure heart, a sincere heart, and for this I need to purify myself.
Check your noise. This is coming from Europe.
I was reading the Mekong article, and this was very, very interesting to me. I have learned a lot. Thank you very much. And I heard that as soon as we purify ourselves and as soon as we start to learn, that many of these particles of our purification will depart into our surrounding. Is there any kind of exercise we can neutralize all this rubbish, all this emotional rubbish, because I learned that after intensive processes of learning, there were days where I'm feeling very good and where there were very difficult reactions to me. And I think that this is, in a way, depending on these processes. The second question is, what is the difference between my soul and between my true self? Can you please clarify this point? Thank you very much, Master.
Now, through your question, let me answer for you. The purification, a number of you who think that from the East, the concept from the East, meaning purification, that you have to do good, to be kind to people, do not cause suffering. That is not the process of purification. The purification for the humans is not that whether you do good or evil. But the purification here, it is not to have greed, more or less. That is a process of purification. Your human nature, whether you're good or evil, that is inside of you. How come you are evil? Tradition, culture, family, society, that cause you to be evil, but your human nature, you are not. How come you feel angry? When these people in your family that do the wrong thing or you are not able to tolerate, then that is how it caused the human. The purification here, as you know, not to have greed. Do not judge. Do not be selfish. You think yourself as higher and never think like that. Never think like that. That is how you can purify yourself. Do not say that you purify to be good or get rid of bad. No one on earth who has no grudges, only when you are in a coma. When you don't have anything, when you are a human, then you feel the anger, emotion. You still feel angry, but you don't have greed. That is a purification. Purification here is not to have greed. Do not judge. Do not be selfish. Think yourself higher than others. Only you see your children as highest. That is wrong, very wrong. That is how you can purify yourself. Your children have a sin and you discipline them to teach them. Doesn't mean that you kill them. The two is different. But there are children when they do not have sin and you call them they have sin and you try to cover for your children. That is why the greatest error. That's why it caused war. Even Buddha up there, he went to climb down. He closed his eye. He feel angry when they see this. You feel angry, others they feel angry. In the same, you force people to listen to you. Who are you that force people to listen to you? That is the greatest error. That is how you have to purify yourself. Do not say that this one is good or that one is evil. That is a human nature. So my people, they are very clever. They love the children. I mean, you discipline them. But you love in the Western, then 10 children, and you corrupt them, 11 of them. When they are so dumb, and the people who deceive them, and then they bring the grandchildren for you. If they are smart, and they bring less grandchildren to you, or more or less, they bring all the grandchildren to you. You can see. They have freedom. They have all the freedom, and then they can have many husbands, many wives, many boyfriend or girlfriend, and they bring all the grandchildren to you. That is how they have freedom. In my country, they think that touching the hand, that they or by kissing, they can be pregnant. Sometimes they get married, the parents tell them pre-arranged marriage. They never see the wife or the husband. They still live with each other. And we keep on saying that they are old-fashioned. And over here, you don't have old-fashioned, but you have AIDS, you have a problem with drug addiction, you have a problem all kind of sickness and disease. That is why, because of freedom, that causes sickness, and over there they are afraid that just by touching the hand they can be pregnant, and sometimes touching the other way and they're not even pregnant, but over here thinking touching the hand they get pregnant. My people, they are so strange. But then at least not many people are corrupted. Even if they want to, they cannot, because they never see the face of the husband and the wife. They see each other and they live with each other 30, 40 years. That is how I explain for you. To get rid here is to get rid of our greed, the power struggle, and selfishness, causing war from within the family out to society. That is because of selfishness and power. You want to have always better than people. If they are better than you, do you agree? If you know, then why you treat them? So if we treat them like that, then they have war. I tell you the truth. Even if they don't have war, we have to provoke that war, because the people, they want war. So how can you stop them? That is how I share with you. You say about purification. Some of the books from the East or from the West, you learn about it. They say that you have to do good, respect the parents, take care of the family, and that is so wrong. To take care of those who know how to take care of themselves. Only in that way you can purify. If you worry for those who do not take care of themselves, in a way you are pushing them on a bad way, and they are hurting family members, all of the people around them also getting hurt. That is not the way. But the human nature from the East, they are like that. The Western, after 18 years, they are independent, and they suffer their own consequence. But from the East, they have so many links to the family. That is how I share with you the concept of purification. I just want to share with you a part, so you can recognize and understand it, so you are able to purify yourself. If you want to be good, so without any distraction, each time when you are distracted, you close your eyes, you pray, you practice, you travel out of space 5-10 minutes, then you feel better. And if you don't have the free time, I don't want you to pray, but at any situation, urgency, when you are not able to solve, you can pray to my soul to merge with you, then you can clear it. You forget about all this problem. At night you lying there, you can practice, to try to practice, to travel out of space, and you still have, your mind still have distraction. You are not able to practice, then you pray to the soul master Dang to merge with you, and then you pray, and then suddenly you fall asleep. And your body automatically lose all sensation to travel out of space to learn, and that will be the fastest way. You don't have any problems. That is my soul, the energy from my soul, to help you to solve the case, so your mind is calm, to clear all of the unnecessary thought in your mind, to help you, so you have wisdom and enlightenment, so you are able to help all the people. This I can do, as I explained to you. So you don't have any distraction. Not that you are able to help all the people, and in the nearest, your family members. Now about the true self, your soul is a true self. Your body is the ego, because your body still eat and wear, still travel here and there, still lead a life of pressure, and still have temperament. So that is your ego. The true self doesn't have any condition. For that reason, I want to remind you to follow and learn from your true self, your soul. It doesn't mean I tell you to give up everything. No, you need these means. The means that you need, that through this means, so you are able to learn. It doesn't mean that you use all of the means and you sacrifice these people who do not deserve. I tell you the truth. I want to share. In the past, I loved my children and grandchildren, but now I cannot love all of them. It doesn't mean that I abandon them, but to love them, meaning only a partial. When they don't have food and nutrition, and I give it to them, provide for them the meals. When they are sick, I give them the money to go to the hospital, for example. To give them money, meaning you are killing them, killing their family. they lead a reckless life, getting drunk, go to bars. What can they do? Even if I have 3 billion, I give to them, they burn them all. Not to mention $1,000 or $100,000, $10 billion, they also use them all. And in a way, I'm killing their life. And the people who are around them, then they are also being yelled at. They claim that they curse at them. As I know, my own nephew, give them a house and they sell the house, give them the car, they sell the car, give them the farm, they sell the farm. They do so many things. They think they're doing business, but in fact, when they don't have the money, they do, but when they have the money, they don't do anything. They just sit and eat and they sell everything. The house, the farm and the car, everything sell, and not even the body. But some of them owe a lot of money. But when they buy wine, they keep on buying all the wine, borrowing money to buy the wine. After buying 85 liters of wine in 1 month, in a month drinking 85 liters of wine, I don't know whether he drink or not. He was so drunk. Even if they say that 300 liters they have to pay, otherwise they put them in jail, so the uncle has to send the money to. And then they have a lung problem, had to be in the hospital for 6 months. And then afterwards they said that he stopped drinking. I thought I'm happy, but because from the mouth down, then when they see the smell, from the nose up, doesn't say he doesn't want to drink anymore. But with the glass of wine, he said from now, from here up, keep on drinking again, and then end up in the hospital again. So what can I do? They're so far away. They always lie to me and said, "Uncle, I'm so suffering, and now I'm poor, and my wife doesn't have enough money for buying rice, and then I owe a lot of money to the bars, and go to drink to the bars with all the girls, and also paying all the bars and also the girls." And that person, he's so dumb, and supposedly he's dumb, but he's so clever. All the money go to the bars with all the girls and with all the wine. Supposedly 200, and I will give 3,000 to all of them. So as I see, I advise, it's not that we do not love our children or grandchildren, but we have to teach them. The money, people work from the morning to the whole day just to earn only a little money, and then they waste all the money. In my country, they are poor. In a day, they earn only $1. Sometimes not even $1. Working from 5 in the morning to 7 in the evening just to get $1, and to go to a bar with all the girls and spending hundreds of dollars. So in a way, you are not loving them. You're hurting them, hurting the people around them. When these innocent people, when they get drunk and then turn around and then they get drunk and then harming them. And their own mother and telling me, I should give them the money. He gives them the money to his mother, and his mother tells them not to give money, and giving the money. So I give the money to his mother, and then she said that he's suffering, giving him the money. And he said, you asked 300,000 Vietnamese đồng, giving him the money. He said that he's sick, giving him the money. Instead of drinking, taking the medication, but he used the money to drink again. So he even deceived his mother, saying that he's sick. So instead of taking drugs for the disease, he continued on drinking again. That is how I share with you, with my experience. I don't say about anyone else. Why? So as you love your children or your family members, you have to train them. If they don't listen to you, then there's nothing you can do, because they always deceive you. You cannot tell. If you keep on saying that you feel for them, then you are hurting them. So through your question, that is an experience for all the families. If you love, then you try to help. You love to help doesn't mean that you love to hurt them, but you do not know. You don't know how to help and how to hurt. That is how I share you the means, so you are able to learn to progress, to help all the people in a complete way. As you are able to help a stranger, and you are not able to help your family, and because we do not place our love correctly, that includes Master Dang. That is, I share with you from my experience. So do not cause them to suffer or feel hungry, and do not give them too much. Do not let them be hungry, then it is easy. That is how I share with you in general. We love everyone. The stranger you love. So your family members, for sure, you love them. But you have to take care of them. Doesn't mean that you love and then you hurt their life and their spouse and their children. So you should not do that. So for that reason, I want to share with you so you know, when you merge, you just merge. The bad or the good, you merge. In order to convince them within your ability, you do it. For me, in the same way as I love, I just let them die. Let them die. It is better in that way. It is better to die rather than to live. But it is not their time yet, and they're still alive. My own nephew is supposed to die with a severe problem in the hospital, but as I have the money, I cannot leave them. To help them to last breath, if they can live, but then the person still live. So my relatives, as I mentioned to you, who took care of me, I decided to bring home to die, but it is so difficult to die. So within your ability, you can continue to transfer energy and pray, and that is how I explain for you. That is how you are able to apply using your true self. The ego, then because of your hatred, you let them die because you hold the grudges. So you have to help them, to teach them so they can become a good person. If they are bad, and then you leave them, if they don't listen to you and don't give them the money. Now, if they say that they ask for rice, they ask for 50 liters of rice, you give them 60. Or they need 50, you give them a ton, then they have a lot, then they sell it to buy wine. So why should they store all of extra rice? So I advise for you. So now in a month I only give a few hundred or thousand, so it is like $20 for a month for them, just enough to eat without enough money to drink. Without drinking, then they can gain weight. Drinking wine without eating, then for sure they get sick. So that's how I share with you. If you know how to use the true self, you are able to help yourself, and you help your family members and your neighbors. That is your true self. But with the ego, I advise for you, with the ego, when you talk about the ego, I tell you, the ego is you're always judging yourself, your family, not others. When you judge your family, then they can clear from their sin. If they are innocent and you judge them, then suddenly you have the sin. That is how you apply the true self to solve the problem of the ego. I let you practice to use the ego. Always judge yourself. Your family, you judge them, criticize yourself. But if you keep on judging and criticize others, what about yourself, your family? So in the principle of EV, the more you criticize yourself, then the less you can clear. As you ask about the ego and the true self, now in the level 19 I show you, so I always condemning and criticize my family. I tell you the truth. It doesn't mean that I see that to criticize, to clear. Why do you criticize your family? So you don't do it to others. You keep on criticize others, but you yourself, you just keep in silence. You don't even say anything about yourself. So in that way, now you talk about the true self and the ego. I want you to use the ego so that so it combines with the true self to help yourself and to help others. It doesn't mean that I tell you to use the true self, so to keep on giving to you and keep on criticizing others. When they have sinned, do not reveal yourself or your sin to others. Nobody knows. When you have the sin and you keep on criticizing others, but you yourself, you don't criticize yourself. I don't tell you to go on and say to others that you have sinned. You just talk to yourself, confess to your own self, to your soul, to your true self, so that it can help you. Don't say that your family has a problem, your family has sinned. You just talk to your soul. It doesn't mean that I tell you to go out and you say that your family is bad and your family is have sin. You can hide in that way. It's better, it's better for you. That is about the ego and the true self. Now, next question.
Good evening, Master. This is Portugal. Good evening, Dr. Teresa and fellow students. Dear Master, as you said in the last seminar on level 16, 17 and 18, we are believing in a fake world, an illusion world. If this is an illusion world, why should we preserve it? The movie Matrix talks about a matrix that starts to expand and spreads to the point of controlling the human being. What can we do to prevent ourselves from being invaded by this matrix? The next question. Are we being trained to act in case of calamities and on the future when we are to give life to the new earth? To have the capability of immediate materialization, for instance, to make plants, water, and all necessary means to support life? Now the last question. Now that Master has activated the 1,500 students, how long will it take to give the quantum leap Master talked about in 1996? Thank you, Master.
You have 3 questions in Portugal.
We've made the 3 questions already.
Okay, well done.
Yeah.
Now, through this question about the fake world, I explained for you. I don't want to say much. In many decades, from the past 3 centuries until now, not more than that. So you have the opportunity and the documents so you can research. All the humans on Earth, we are under the control of a group of people. These are the scientists. I want to prove a few points for you to see, because they think they are the best in the world. The scientists, whatever they say, you have to listen. But who control these scientists? These are the billionaires, capitalists. Good, bad, right, wrong, real or fake. All of these capitalists controlling the scientists. And these scientists are controlling the whole world. Is it right? If not, then I share further. In the past until now, as you learn, out in space, 9 planets. Beyond the Earth. Now they just had a meeting and they said only 8 and the other planet is not deserved. Who can say? In the past 3 centuries ago it was, and now it is not. So who can decide? Do you know that? No. Whatever they say, you listen. They say it's rain, you hear. They say the sun sunny, and they say the storm, and you listen. And they say because of the change in weather, and that's it. From a medical perspective, they have all the diagnosis, and then they say that to believe in, to pray to God, and never believe in God. They're so illogical. Some of the doctors, with some of this diagnosis, there's no cure, then they have to pray for a cure. They just say not to believe in God, and when they're stuck, and they pray to God to reveal where is God. So you can see how illogical they are. But then, for us, it's illogical, but they have the right to lie to us. We have to listen to them, including me. We have to listen to whatever they say, because they are the powerful people. They have to listen. Listen or not, you die. It doesn't mean that you live. You live if you listen to them. You listen or you don't listen to them, you die. So how can it be real? tradition, culture, family, society, including religion, as I know. They use religion for many purposes. Buddha did not teach this. Christ did not teach this. But how come? Buddha teach them, Christ teach them, they don't listen. So who make up all of this? Is it Christ or Buddha? You can see that is the human world. The fake human world as Buddha had known. Buddha had known that this is a fake world. If you accept, do not go against it. You try to go against it, then intentionally you are killing your body. Just let it flow through. And first, never contradict yourself. If you are angry, do not try to go against it. Meaning, the important part is when you're angry or you have hot temper, do not hate. As a hatred, you can do not harm others, but you are harming yourself. So that is my advice for you. If you live like that, then it's better for you. The human world is fake because a number of people who are controlling it. Now they say that the asteroid, billions of tons from thousands of miles, are heading toward Earth and heading directly to Earth. By the time it's close, and then they say that because of the wind, it diverted the path of this asteroid. That's the scientists who claim. You don't believe, and you have to, because you do not know. You don't know the wind speed and how big the asteroid and how it broke up. You only hear what they say. So through the news media, on the television or radio, they are controlling you. You have to listen to them. Right or wrong, you have to listen to them. They can change from right, they change to wrong, or wrong, they change to right, and you have to listen because we are the fifth human race. We are very dumb. So they are smarter than us. They tell us, so we have to listen to them. Only with this, they because of this money, they try to conquer the whole world. Do not say that the scientists, they are the experts. They put the gun to the head to push, or do not push a button, you die. Either way, you die. Only that God can save you. I have taught you, the scientists, they have a head, or they have a gun on their head to push a button for country A, or do not push a button, you die. Either way, you die. If you shoot them over there with a nuclear, they retaliate over there, they die. Over here, we die. There's a solution that you can save. I have taught about 20 years ago. So they put you in that position. You push or you don't push a button, you die. And now, at the end of the life of the human, the scientist is giving up. The capitalists, they give up, waiting to die. They're just waiting to die. There's no one to save. They announce that they surrender from science. The scientists had claimed that they surrender, then the other one, they cannot survive, they all give up. I do not hope. But I only hope that when there is a nuclear, biological, and chemical in the air, we are not contaminated, then we succeed in the research in the human world, as we have wisdom, enlightenment, to save mankind. I'm waiting for that day. Whether that day with the nuclear, chemical in the air that I breathe, if I die, I'm so happy because I finished my mission. Then the earth continue on the journey to be in the darkness. That's all. If I think like that, then it's better. Do not think that we can live 300 or 1600 years or 150 years just for pleasure. We don't need this. That is through this question I explained for you. In the world, nothing is real or fake. That Buddha knows that is temporal, but Buddha did not explain clearly. Through this question I explained for you, that is how it is temporal. Now, food with all of the way of processing, that as you eat, with the money you eat, and causing so much sickness that you are not aware of it. I only hear whatever they report. I'm also afraid. all the food and nutrition that you think that you do not want to eat. But I just hear one of the report using chemicals from these garbage, toxic waste, and they mix with the chemical to make food for you to eat. And just hearing it, and you feel sick, and they can sell it for millions of dollars in processing food. When you think about it, then do you dare to eat any type of food? I also hear another report in my country, as I research a lot about this. The chemicals, they mix all the chemicals, it's just like egg, tastes just like an egg. $5 you can buy 10 eggs, but $5 you can buy 50 eggs because they can process. Look just like the egg, look almost exactly like egg, but it's all made up from chemicals. For $5 you can buy 50 eggs, or normally it would cost $5 to buy 10 eggs. So these are some of the examples. So the humans now, there's no point. How can we live long now? We die sooner because of the material. That's why we die sooner. The one who make all the material also eat all the material, whether you're vegetarian or eating meat, regardless of any food. Vegetarian do die faster because they make all the fake food, chemical, especially the Taiwanese. I know in Taiwan, in the case of squid, I tasted the squid. They said this it tastes just like the real squid. As my student brought to me, they said from this material that they can make just tastes just like the dry squid. Vegetarian, and they eat the chicken and squid. I don't know what they make that tastes just like chicken. Perhaps they use some of this cotton and they grind it for us to eat. But in fact, you are eating cotton from the street. From the garbage they process, just like in Taiwan they make. If you see how they process this food, the cotton from the garbage can, and they process with the white chemical, and they mix, and they make the like vegetarian food, and then they export. You see, it tastes so good from Taiwan. And when you eat it, you have stomach problem, and you have intestine problem, and suddenly you have cancer because you're eating all of this thing from the toxic waste. This is real. Oh my God, that's how the human that they are. There's no point now. Now, to solve the problem with the overpopulation, they use many of this food to kill people. That's why one of the high-ranking official in China, they execute. The Communist Party in China had executed one of the high-ranking officers. Never been in the history from 1949 till now, 58 years until now. For the first time, the Chinese government executed one of the highest-ranking officers in China. After 58 years, for the first time, never happened, but it did. So you can see the result. So now they let you eat a lot of cotton. That's why now he got executed. So come back to the point. I want to share with you through the journey. As God allowed the teaching of Iwi, the purpose is to neutralize all of the situation, so we can help all the living creatures, so we can migrate to other planets. Through the level 19, in the beginning of 2007, one of the well in Thailand is dried up. One of the students, only level 19, I have a technique to find an underground water source. The student from Australia at night meditate and merge with Master Dang to find the underground water source. It raised the water level 1 meter, and no matter how they use, the water is still the same level. No matter how much water they use, the water level is still the same. At that moment, the well was drying up. That is how you are able to find underground water source. You are in the level 19. Eventually, you are able to help to find so much in terms of water source, and to help to produce with food. That will be in the future, as I have planned. 11 years ago, I did not know. And 11 years later, after I taught you from each level at a time, as I learned from the deities, depending on the levels of the student, I guide you. As I learn, you learn, we all learn, the deities had taught us. So I can remind you, so you can apply. to help the human with wisdom, to help the wisdom with enlightenment, so we have a chance to migrate to other planets. That 34 years ago, I learned from the deities, as the deities revealed to me until now today. I have seen that the ability that the deity had given to the human, that is you, me, all of us. Now, we are all under control to all of the machine and devices. In the past, when I learned, when I was learning the level 1, from first grade, I have to learn by memorization. But now, the student in college, I have to depend on calculator. I don't know how to calculate by mind. So you can see, 7 times 7 when I was in first grade. When I learned in elementary school, 7 times 7 is 49. But now 7 times 7, they have to use a calculator. Now these are smart kids. They cannot calculate by mind. And 6, 7 have to count with the fingers. For me, only a split of a second. 45, it's 90. And to do addition and subtraction is so easy that they have to punch in the calculator and then find the answer. For me, only a split second, but for them, 30 seconds. You can see. So that's how they are now. Highly advanced, you depend much on machines. Now, without the power, then you say that you can use battery, then you need the satellite with the cover of the sun and with the snow, with the storm, the wind, then the satellite is blocked, then you are still lost. Then how can you connect? You try to use telecommunication, you think you use battery. Is there any signal? Is there any signal that you can receive? In the case of the storm blocking the sun, blocking on Earth, that caused the Earth to paralyze for 24 or 48 hours. You cannot even catch anything, not to mention about catching any signals. You are dependent on this technology with the condition that you have all the means. With the satellite, when it's lost, the signal, then you cannot even use telecommunication. You cannot communicate to anyone. That's how we are so dependent on that. For that reason, our brain, we think of science and technology, then how can you live long? You have to live, you have to die soon, and you get sick after working 10 years and you have to retire for 15, 30 years. So we cannot live long to have the intelligence, because we depend on so much. That's why we lose everything. 24 hours we lose everything. Listen carefully. Not to mention that you have to wait for many months, only 24 hours. The telecommunication paralyzed all over the world in 24 hours, then you go bankrupt. So do not say that you are rich, you have a lot of money. I see 10 years ago, when I was in Hong Kong, the money you can deposit, but you cannot take out you cannot even take out $1. You know why? All the system was paralyzed for 24 hours. You cannot even eat because you don't have money. You think that you have the credit card and you can withdraw the money, but you put in the machine or bring it to the bank, they have no way to withdraw. You don't even have $1. So you put in the money, they record, but you cannot withdraw any money. There's no machine. You said you put in $10,000, you say you want to withdraw 300. You can deposit in, they can write it down, but when you try to withdraw, you cannot. It happened to me in Hong Kong, in America, in New York, only 3 hours. And that would cost lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Only in the case of credit cards alone, with 3 hours, they have a problem that they lost hundreds of millions of dollars. So in 24 hours, all over the world, then you can see the damage. For those of you who are playing with stocks with your car, and you can see with only in 24 hours, I just tell you ahead of time. So for me, do not tell me to buy car or buy stocks. What money, whatever you have, you spend. or you can eat the vegetarian. That's better. Eating meat is not as safe. You go to the bank, you cannot withdraw any money. You write a check, they cannot confirm whether you have money or not. So now you have to understand, we're so dependent on this device. That's why, because of the balance of economy for the capitalists, they want a country to go bankrupt. Then with the blockade, then that country would go totally bankrupt. So it is best if you have 50, you use 50, or you keep the money or the gold, keep the gold under your bed. The fake, using the real gold, not a fake gold. The fake gold in Vietnamese, that is the bad one. You don't want to use. Now, the lesson you learn from level 1 up to level 19, you still have the problem in level 19. The soul of the level 19 want to train you so you can be excel, so you can overcome, to prepare for a higher soul to merge with you in level 20, so that everything will be straightforward for you. Now perhaps 15 to 30% of you would fail in level 19. So in 100 of you, 15 to 30 of you would fall because of the trial and you give up. That is one of the way that you may fail from 15 to 30%. But in level 20, only 1 to 3%, because the soul knows what you need. So everything will be more straightforward for you. However, I cannot guarantee 100%, but I advise for you from now, as you are not complete the level 19 yet, I advise for you, think of the purpose when you learn the level 20, what for? In principle, I want you to learn more, in fact. But then when you learn the level 20, what is your purpose to learn? To dominate people, or to just to follow with the flow? Or you learn to hurt people? If you have that intention, then I advise not to learn, because it has no benefit and also harm you. I don't want to harm you, because you cannot do anything. If you cannot do anything, your husband, your wife, your parents, or people around you, you cannot. So it's best, do not learn, stop at the level 19. Try to practice, try to help people, so that your mind, your soul can see that this body is able, then the soul can guide you to the level 20. This is for your own benefit, not the benefit for Master Da, the benefit for your spouse, your parents, your children and grandchildren, not for Master Da. Then you learn. If you think you learn, my God, I see a number of you from Vietnam. Sometimes I do not want many of these monks or nuns to learn, because some of these nuns who ask, I allow some of them to learn, and the one that I allow to learn, they want to serve, to help people. I do not make a mistake. I want this clergy to learn. Why? So to help the people that they are not able to go to the public. For that reason, I allow many of these clergy from any religion to learn. Why? So they can help their own religion to develop spirituality. That is the reason I let this clergy to learn, and people out in the public. My own family members, my nephew in level 19, I would not allow them to learn, because they think that they are my family members to learn, to boast, and to show off. So I do not allow them to learn. They say that they learn after that level, they just go for shopping, they don't learn. And then they ask them where the chakra 3, say the chakra 3 is on the ear, then why should they learn? They know about wine, what kind of brand, what kind of liquor, the price of this liquor, they know very well. But they do not know about anything else. So what else? I do not teach about liquors, I do not teach about the bars, I do not teach about this. So they don't need to learn this, so it's best to stay home. So my family member, they asked to learn, I said not, just stay home, just drink wine, go over here, and then you get drunk drinking the Thai wine, and then you see the sexy show, and then you go in the sexy show, and then, so it's better to stay home. So when you drink and you get drunk and then you just go and kill your own family, so it is best not to go. So I do not let them to learn. I tell you the truth. Do not think that they ask, if you go just for vacation, then I let you to go for vacation, but not to learn. And you come and you say that you're a nephew of the master, or the centers in Thailand said the nephew of the master. I say that they just sit in the back of the room. Do not let them go into the class to learn. Just sit in the back of the room, because knowing that they are level 19 and level 20, I tell them to stay home. I do not allow them to learn. I do not say that perhaps the nephew of the master, then they will be to come to learn. After death, and I give the money to bury. It didn't mean that going to learn and causing problem to people. It's best not to learn. I tell you the truth. For you, similarly, if you have a purpose to learn to help people, then you learn. This is not that I tell you to help the communities in the world. Just only helping within your circle, your spouse, your children, grandchildren, your neighbors, then you learn to help them. If you learn to dominate people, then you should never want to learn, because there's no benefit for you. And in that way, you are not able to grasp. If in your mind, in the smallest, if you love your children, your spouse, your parents, then you learn. This is my advice for you, and I give you the opportunity so you learn, so you can help your family. I tell you the truth. That is my general advice for you. I love all the students. In my family, I do not abandon them, but if they learn for a purpose, then it's best for learn. Otherwise, it is not. Now, I explained for you already. In the first part, I had explained to you, I never thought that when I come to teach level 20, that the high being that merged to all of you, because I did not learn about this. When I taught a few days, suddenly I received the message that they would merge with you. This is beyond my imagination. And I never thought that they merge with you to help us with the means to have earth, so we don't have the threat, to have all the people to have wisdom and enlightenment. That they already had wisdom and enlightenment. Therefore, I also received the lesson that all of you in level 20, more or less, your road will be straightforward rather than with conflicts. If you want, the deity will help you, so you have the condition to help other people. When they agreed, then that will be the great joy for the humankind, or particularly for you and those of you who are fortunate. That is the point that I'm so happy after the level 20 recently. Money, wealth, career, and fame, power, selfishness. I know in level 20 you are able to clear a lot from this. Why? So you can become one with wisdom and enlightenment, to help others to have wisdom and enlightenment just like us. That is the wish of the deities and God, to create life on earth so that we can migrate to other planets, to bring the human species with wisdom and enlightenment without selfishness or power struggle. That on earth we had that problem for millions of years. I explained that point clearly for you.
Дорогой мастер, что такое истина? Что истина является для души, что истина является для тела? Каковы пути познания истины? И какова истина для студентов 19 уровня? Изменились ли техники телепатического общения с вами, мастер? Спасибо.
Dear Master, my questions are, what is the truth? What is the truth for the body, and what is the truth for the soul? What are the ways for learning truth? Could you please tell us what is the truth for the concept of truth for level 17, for level 19 students? And also, dear Master, at level 19, does the technique of telepathic communication undergo any changes? Thank you very much.
Now, from the past until now, people thought that the truth is the teaching from the deities who reveal to us, and that is wrong. That is only a theory. The truth is to be able to apply to help all the people. That would be the truth. So, East, West, ancient and present time, we are confused about this. What is the way to learn the truth? In theory, can you help yourself? Can you help others? No. Then that would not be the truth. The truth here, the deities taught us to serve, to help people, to act, to help people. Then that would be the truth. Buddha taught us. Jesus taught us. If you say that Buddha said that you have to do good, that would be the truth. To go to the temple to pray, that would be the truth. That what is that for? The deities did not teach us this. They do not need us to pray to them. If you pray to them, you can. The deities taught us the truth, that is to help people who are suffering, who are sick, to help them in many situations. That is the truth. To help, meaning to help unconditionally, that would be the truth. If you help condition with the condition, then that is not the truth. Because you do not buy, you do not waste any money to get this. Universal energy is the truth. To use this truth to send to others, that will be the truth, unconditionally, unbiased mind. The truth, that will be the absolute truth. If the truth as you learn, that would be from the ego, not from the true self. It is limited in the concept of the truth from the ego. You research from that one book that mentioned so profound by the truth, but who write it? Is it yours or theirs? From the author, or is it from you? Even if it is from you who write it, it's not the truth. You write it out to act, to help others, then that would be the truth. The truth in the level 19 it is different than the other levels. The fact, the truth and the true self, that is unconditional. The ego, they have so many conditions. The truth from the ego, they have so many conditions. Tradition, culture, family, society. What for? They block people and they know nothing else. It is so restricted in many ways. Perhaps you are surprised when you are in the level 19. I explain about the truth, so you can understand, so you can apply in a way that you pray to merge. That is the real truth. Unconditionally, you help here, meaning that you are helping the soul to evolve. You help the body with wisdom, so they can benefit not for us, for you or me. That is the most practical truth, the most effective one, infinite one. But if the truth from the ego, that is a limit. And by books, researching, you say about the truth, and you say that you are a researcher, you may explain better than those who do not research. Sometimes those who do not research, and ordinary people, sometimes they have the infinite truth. I explain it's not like other masters. I'm very practical. I go directly into the point. The truth from the true self, that is infinite, I want to explain to you as I present it to you. Now, as you establish telepathy, I advise for you the first level 19 for the couples. They have conflict. So they have a quarrel. So you pray to the Master Dang. The husband pray and the wife pray to Master Dang. So asking the Soul Master Dang to merge with each of you. So I will solve for you. It is Master Dang who will solve for both of you. That is directly. When you are sitting in front of each other, the husband, let's say you are from a distance. You want to establish telepathy with each other. You practice for half an hour. After your practice, that you choose a time that you meditate, and your thought, you think of the others, sending a message. You write down on a piece of paper, and then You send that thought to others, and over there they send the thought. You can write 2 lines or 4 lines, and you send. Let's say, for example, the husband who sent to the wife. They said the wife to do this and do that, and the wife saying to do that, do that, do that. And then after 10 or 15 minutes, and you call each other. The husband will ask the wife, if I send you the message like this, do you receive? If the wife received the message just like what you received and correctly, then you succeed. And the wife asks the same way to the husband. If everything that she sent, the husband receive the same way. If he can, then you succeed. So slowly, from a small message to a longer message, then you can succeed in the future. You would be able to use the telepathy as the way of communication. Eventually, there's one day, I do not know when, the telecommunication system will fail. You cannot call Master Dang. You only can think of Master Dang, and Master Dang would be talking to you in your thought, just like in the phone. Now this will happen. In any urgency that you need the soul Master Dang, then I will teach you all the details, so you are able to carry out. Recently, I know one of the THEO, one of the youngsters who learned only up to level 16 or 17, because from my country they came. He was able to sit in the class, and his mother, who called one of the people in Australia, especially in the past, he practiced to travel out to space. When he was in there, he listened to the lecture in level 20. He practiced. When I practice and hear the voice of Master tell him how to practice to travel out to space easier. So now, whenever he went to practice to travel out to space, follow the technique that Master Dang taught them in telepathy. That person, a boy, only 16-year-old. So in the future, I advise for you similarly, you listen carefully in anywhere. When you need the soul of Master Dang, in urgency that you are not able to solve, you are completely stuck, think of my soul, then my soul will teach you. This you can overcome. You don't need 30 seconds, only a split of a second, and I will show you. For example, in a region close to you, you have a disaster or with a lot of chaos. There's no way for you. Your soul is frightened. You think of Master Dang, then Master Dang will help you to show you all the details, so you are able to carry out, to help yourself and to help the people around you. This I confirm with you 100% I can do. When it is needed, then I come and help you if you need. If not, then I will not force you. Listen carefully. So I advise for you in the telepathy, try to practice. So each time when you want to establish telepathy, you need to practice to travel out to space first, then you can try to practice with the telepathy, then it will be easier for you to achieve. Now go on. Next question.
Turkey?
Okay. Do you hear me, Donas?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay. The first question in Turkey is about the disasters. In the document, you are telling us, Master, about the regions where disasters happen, and you are telling us how to make energy transfers 9 times to a city, to a location or a region. And then you're telling us that we shall ask Master's soul to merge with our soul and go to that region to help. I'd like you to explain a little bit more about merging with Master's soul and to tell us more exactly what to do to merge with Master. This is the first part of the question, and the second part is about the source of bad things or bad situations in which we are always have to try to help all humans. I'd like to know, and I'd like to hear an explanation from Master about the source of such bad things and situations.
Are you done, Hassan? Hello, Hassan?
Yes, so that was all.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thưa Thầy. Regarding the disasters, as you know, the formula that I showed you in a document, you receive a light of God aura 2 seconds and send 3 seconds 9 times, and you do it consecutively for 3 days. Now, for the merging to come there, you easily you can merge. You know the disaster area already, so you pray according to the formula I have taught you, so that you can transform into energy, so you can come there. After you practice, when you pray and you practice, your body, as it transforms into energy, it will come there, meaning you all lose all sensation of your body. Then your soul is there. When you regain the sensation of your body, then you come back to the original state. And if you wish to merge, you pray to the Soul Master Dan to merge with you 3 times. To pray to the Soul Master Dan to merge with you 3 times, not more than 30 seconds. And now you're not yet, but if you want your soul to come there, in that 30 seconds, you think of that area, because in the level 19 you cannot merge collectively. In the future, in similar situation to this question, you can merge to have all of the soul of the living creature. Now you are not able to. Now if you want to come there, in 30 seconds, instead of sending energy, then you send the soul of Master Dan merging with your soul. In 30 seconds you come there. And when you return back, then it is done. You do that for 3 consecutive days, so that your soul, when you merge with me or your soul, when you practice, you're able to have the soul or the body in this area to regain order. This is something you can do in level 19. Listen carefully. Now, in fact, you mentioned about the source of all of these bad things. As we mentioned, the humans, we don't have wisdom and enlightenment for the past 200,000 years until now. But the human nature, our body and our soul, from the time of birth in the family, even we do not have all of these bad things in us. But as we are living in a world of darkness, in an environment that we have influence of tradition, culture, family, society that cause us to be bad. In material, when we are born, we are not bad. From the time when we are infant to adulthood, there's nothing that causes us to feel to cause us to be bad. When we are young, we only eat, but then the tradition, culture, family, society that cause it. Why? Money, fame, fortune, all of that causes us to be bad. No strangers. The ancestors who live back to the next generation, and we live back to others. You want them to do well with their career, to do well in school, to have a position in society, to have money, to have a luxury house, to have cars. Nobody wants your children to suffer because your love. Living in this human world, in a world without wisdom and enlightenment, we just want to protect ourselves. But whether we are doing good or not, no. You think you have money, career, fame, and then your children are good? No, they don't, because you don't have enough blessing. If you want this, then you need to have the blessing. Without a blessing, then no matter how you do it, you cannot help them. Now, I've seen a number of people, they are fortunate, meaning that their ancestors who left behind. They are lazy, they don't learn, they go play around. But at the end, they can take care of their family, take care of everyone. But in the past, you keep on cursing at them. That person, in the past, they do not do well in school, but now they have fame, money, and the one that in the past you try to, but then they go to school, and then with a heart broken, they commit suicide and they died. But as we see now, how do you know their future? Well, the future tomorrow for your children. Master LUONG MINH in front of you, I was poor without any food and shelter. But now how come I can teach, be well known about even my mother could not even believe. I think that my mother, she know that she gave birth to me, and then she was working as a laborer. She didn't know how I learned on a spiritual path. So she thought that I was going into the monastery like the monks, thinking that the master, because she doesn't know. But as my student came back and told her, she would not believe. And once she believed, when I invited her to go to Thailand and Taiwan to visit me, and she was, she asked, how come so strange? I didn't see you learn how you can become a master. Because the concept of the people in the old time thinking they have to go to the monastery to become a master, thinking that I have to follow a Buddhist. I just mentioned that my master has no name. That is how I share with you about my life. But the important part, it doesn't mean I tell you to give up. It doesn't mean I tell you not to take care of your children or family. But the important part, for you, if you have the blessing, it doesn't mean that you have a blessing for them to benefit, but you have the blessing so that the people around you love you. So when you have a problem or when you die, then they can take care of your children or your grandchildren. That is my concept. I tell you the truth. I help and I forget. I help and I forget. I give them money and I help them, and then I forget about it. I don't even remember. When I give them money, whatever they do with the money I gave, I don't even pay attention to that. Why? So when we lose everything, then these people think that in the past the parent help, you don't do anything, and they said that you know the children that in the past you are so evil, and then they do not, they mistreat your children. So I tell you the truth. That is very important. You have to create all the merits. When you have all the blessing, the invisible being, they are very clever. They give you the environment surrounding, so you can benefit. If you don't have the blessing, then how can you benefit? That is because tradition, culture, family, society, that make us not to be good or perfect. It doesn't mean that all the people are like that, but it is not your own fault. All the people are like that, so we are the same. Just like recently, as you can see, in my country, working 40 hours just to earn $1 Australian, not even in US dollar, working for 14 hours, and they have to bring their own rice. To bring their own rice, to work from 5 in the morning to 7 at night, just to earn $1 Australian. And in Australia, in here, 14 hours working, at least you can earn 100. But over there, only just $1. So you can see, if you don't work, they don't have enough to eat. And 14,000 Vietnamese đồng, and just enough to buy rice, and that is how it is in their life. But then, sometimes they suffer like that. And fortunately, if the ancestor leave them the blessing for them, as the ancestor pass away, then others, relatives or family members help them. That is, I want to share my case. I don't want to say that I'm good, but in the past, how come now I'm here? But from whom? From my ancestors who are poor. Those who are working 14 hours set to earn $1. Nobody think about them. Now we think that you have money and fame, take care of yourself, take care of your family and children, and just leave others alone. But we cannot do it. How come on earth, who help you? Now I've become the Master Dan here. then I think of the past. So I help the present to help the future. That is the ancestors that they leave the blessing for others. If the past, their ancestors in the past did not take care of my ancestors, and now I would not give them $1, not even a cent, not to take care of their well-being. I'm a human. So this is something that we have, the meaning that the ancestors in the past, they are not tied to me, but then as they help me, nurture me. So in that way they benefit, so we can use this as a role model, not just for our children or grandchildren, but within our capacity, we help within our limit. Since we don't have the ability, and then we try to suppress the people and then try to help people, then unintentionally you are hurting 3 lifetimes. We should not do that. If you have 10 and you have 8, if you have 10, you have 10. If you don't have anything and you try to cause problem to your family and try to take care of those strangers, and they don't do anything, in a way you are killing your whole family, parents, grandparents, your whole family. Everybody has to sacrifice just for you to help one stranger. You don't have this ability, and in a way you are hurting 3 lifetimes of your family. So that is through my life. I want to share with you this experience so you can benefit. Your nature, you're not bad. Just like my own nephew. He's poor, he's so kind, so good. When he's poor, he's always good and all the people who respect him. But when he has money, then he curses everyone. Now even they don't want to, they still hate them because of tradition, culture, family, society that cause him to be worse than an evil person. And not, when he was poor, he was a kind person, illiterate, doesn't know how to read, who just take care of a duck farm, doesn't know how to read. He was poor and dumb. And from all the villagers, they love him. When I saw that he was so poor, I bring him up, and then everybody hate him. Now he got sick, not to mention that almost dying. So you can see that that's how I hurt him. His uncle hurting, I'm his uncle. I'm hurting him. You can see, from a good person to become a bad person, from a healthy person to become a sick person, and many times facing death. I have to try to help him. That is how I share with you. Our nature, we are never bad, but tradition, culture, family, society that cause us to be bad. If we know it, then we learn. So we know all of this situation to know in order to help with the right moment. In that way, we can really express love, and we can help them to evolve, and never help them so they can become from bad to become worse. Never do that. That is how I share with you. But in fact, our nature, all of the people on earth, we are all good. But these 4 factors, that depending on these 2, are the top. First, the rich people and the scientists are the ones who try to dominate the entire earth. All of the people are afraid of them. Now the scientists, they make the nuclear bomb. All of us, we are afraid of them. And we see that we are afraid of them. And the billionaire, they try to dominate them. They force them to listen. And this billionaire, they are afraid of death. It doesn't mean that they are not afraid of death, so that they are in that cycle. So through this question, I want to share with you our nature. If we know it, our nature, we are not bad, then try your best to clear. These are the question that you mentioned about purifying yourself, meaning that you get rid of whatever is not necessary, then you get rid of it. Then you are able to purify yourself to become a good person. Why? So that the people around you can also benefit from your goodness. That is a way you are able to clear a step at a time to help other people around you so they can receive the light of God's aura, meaning they receive the light, the love from God who give to you, and you share to all of these people, your family members.
Belarus?
Dear Master, what is God in your consciousness and understanding what is God of the creator of everything and everybody. What is aura and what is the light of God's aura? 3 questions in one.
Farhad, are you done? Hello, Farhad?
I guess so.
Okay. Now, the concept from the past until now, we only think that whatever we cannot grasp, then we put it to God, including from the medical science. Whenever they are stuck, then they pray to God. People all call God. They call God, but sometimes they believe or sometimes they do not. That is in the past. But now, who can confirm that God created all of the living creatures? Nobody can prove this. But 34 years ago, I learned that the human can help the human. The human can create all of the living creatures. I did not believe that. But then through the past 18 years in my teaching, I've seen that it is the human can really help the human. And the human can create all of the nutrition. We do not see God anywhere, but we see us. I do not give you a confirmed answer. Like this morning I explained to you in a level 20, perhaps you have the answer very clear. And perhaps from now to January 2008, there are many great changes that in a large EV family we can contribute. That would be the answer. Then who have to have the ability to create all of the living creatures? From my understanding, this human race in the past, they had the ability to pray to the soul of the person A to enter the body of person B. So now we are no exception. That is how the human help the human. In fact, the humans are helping. But who are these humans? Who are these people? That is more important. The human can help the human. These are the human with the capacity. Who gave this ability? The invisible being. The one with wisdom and enlightenment who gave us. These are the higher than the first to the fourth human race. And the highest being that inviting them back 200,000 years ago, 1 million years ago, 2 million years ago, 30 million years ago, for example. Now they have a chance to return back to earth to help mankind. Who are they? Nobody knows who. I hope that in the future, if the humankind on earth, we have the opportunity to migrate to other planets, then that will prove this human with the real ability from where we come from. From where? To come to earth, to this small planet, to go to other planet, that these are the humans helping the humans. And then at that time we do not use the notion of the highest being, that is the human who can create all the living creatures. That is you and me, not just one, not just 10, 100 millions of these people with the same ability, billions of people with the ability to create the new human species in other planets. In the future, that 34 years ago I learned, a step at a time, as I teach you, a step at a time that you are able to achieve, a step at a time you have the ability, then that is the highest being, that is the highest being who never had any name on earth. With the names on earth, then they become no names. Just like the first to the fourth human race, they have no names. The fifth human race, after 200,000 years, from the past 50,000 years, like King Pharaohs, or in Egypt, from one to another, they have names. But in the past, they don't have any names. They're all unknown. They will all return back to the light. So now I just share with you like that. However, about the aura, the concept of the high being from the past 25 centuries until now, They took the photos with the aura. That in fact that is only drawing. In the past, nobody knows what is aura. They imagine that they draw the aura, the light, just like the sun or the star, this being or that being. This is on the way as the means to help us to increase our faith, to learn to progress. But in fact, there is no aura. There is the light, not the aura. That is the light, that's not aura. The aura is a light. The aura just symbolizes this being, but now, you and me, there are so many people who took the picture with the aura. That is a light. Out in space, they see the aura. One of the strangest things that in my country, it is very strange that my students sit out in the ocean and pray, and took a photograph out in space. I saw the logo of the school. As I was teaching in level 20, I was sitting, I closed my eyes, and I transfer energy, and you took a photograph. You saw just like the logo right above my head. That is, I refer to as the light. As we're in this human world, we refer to the aura of the deities, but I I say that is the aura. In fact, I define it as a light. So you can see right here, I was teaching right above my head, there's the light. In the beginning, I thought it's the light, but that was just like the logo of the school. You can see. That is one of the image that in the last level 20, it was taken in Australia. As Donas took several shots, but only this one shot. But you can see the following shot. They don't have this. I just want to share that with you so you can see. That is one of the light, and that light symbolizes the presence of the highest being that is merging to the audience, so you can see. That is right above my head that you are able to see right here. So now you get ready. I give you 1 minute to get ready so we can practice the travel out of space with me. So now everyone got to get ready. The technique that you learn in the level 18 is no different. However, when you practice as I merge with you, so that today you can practice the technique by level 19. All the formula you can apply. Remember, I just want to remind you, first, you receive a light of God aura 2 seconds, and then you do the inhale to the nose, exhale to the mouth 10 times, and then you pray to God, you pray to my soul, to help you to practice, to travel out to space, to learn, to progress. Then you receive the light of God aura 2 seconds, and send 3 seconds to this location, last location. That is a technique of level 19. And a number of you who are here in level 20, I have told you already, you just merge with me, and you merge here and there, the technique of level 20. This is a level 19, but for those of you who are level 20 or later, you apply the technique of the level 20. Do not follow the technique of the level 19 to degrade yourself. This is the level 19, apply the level 19, but for those of you who are level 20 or later who are here, then you apply the technique of level 20. So let me know when you are ready. So now begin. Now it is finished.
Okay. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.